All right, so it's hard to talk about refactoring without talking briefly about unit testing. And so I'm going to show you really quickly how to create very simple unit tests and how to run them. And we're going to use both LUnit and Caraya. So first we're going to go, and I always create a new virtual folder called tests. We're going to do Caraya first. Caraya and LUnit, you can both install them through VIPM. So Caraya, we start out by just creating a new VI. I'm going to call this save as test greet. And I have a greet function here. We'll take a look at that in a minute. So in my project folder, unit testing, there's a project file there you can't see. I've got my greet VI that we're going to test, and then I'm going to have a folder called tests. And in here, I'm going to call this test greet. Okay. Let's take a look at the greet function before we start testing it, just to see. So I have a function. You input a name. Where did my cursor go? It disappeared. There we go. So if I input Sam, I get hello Sam. If I input world, I get hello world. All right, this is really simple, but this is a basic example. In whatever code you're testing, you can pass in whatever you want and pass out whatever you want, and it will all still work. The key is, one key is that this function is what I would call a pure function that's just logic. So the input, or so the output only depends on the input. It doesn't depend on what time of day. It doesn't depend on a network device or file share or anything. Just straight logic, which makes things easy to test. There is a way to test other things. It's complicated. If you want to learn more about that, come take my unit testing workshop. All right, so right now we're going to just open up QuickDrop, control space, type in new test, drop new test. This gives you everything you need. This VI tells Caraya that this is a test. You can give it an optional name, otherwise it just grabs the name of your VI. This is the assertion. This is what checks your code. So we're going to set this to compare equal. Usually I pick value and type. And this label also shows up in the GUI. It's optional. We can get rid of it. So the trick is you drop your code you're going to test here, and it could be a chain of VIs. It doesn't have to be a single VI. And I wire that up to one input, the output. And you can drop multiple of these if you need them, if you have multiple outputs. And I create a constant here. And why did that not create a constant? There we go. And I'm going to say Sam. And what do I expect to get out of this? I expect to get back hello Sam with an exclamation point. And actually, we should watch this fail first. So the first time, I'm just going to say, put this. It's a good habit to, when you write tests, just to watch them fail to make sure that you got the logic right and it doesn't just always pass. So test fails. Running the test just by running the VI. Very simple. So now if I wire up hello Sam, it should pass. Hey, and it passed. You get this, it's not green, it's blue, and this gets a check mark. And it'll generate a report for you. And it'll tell you how many tests passed, blah, blah, blah. In this case, we're just running one test. If you had multiple tests in your project, control space, control U is a keyboard shortcut to run all the tests in the project. In this case, it'll have the same effect. It took a little longer because Caraya is searching my project to find tests. Again, it finds it based on these. And there's also some stuff in the tools menu that will let you run active tests in project and do some other stuff. And that is Caraya. Super simple. Again, easy thing. Control space, new test. Drops everything you need. You drop your code on there. You save it. All you have to do is hit run and it runs your test. That's it. Now on to LUnit. We'll save that. To get started with LUnit, you install LUnit. You have this thing in the top, and this says create new LUnit test case. And I'm just going to call this my test case and click save. And if I go to files, I create a new folder with my test case.lv class and add a template. So with Caraya, the framework tells that your VI is a test based on that one VI. In LUnit, in order for it to be a test, it has to be in a test case class. So it provides a little bit of organization for you. and it has to start with the word test. So this is a template, so we're just going to do new from template. We get a new VI, and we save as test greet. And you can probably come up with a more descriptive name, like test greet Sam would probably be a better name. And here we have, similar to Caraya, right? We had the VI that tells us that it's a test. In this case, the class tells us it's a test between that and the name. And here we have an assert. And this thing just says pass if equal. And there's a whole palette under LUnit, so you can do pass, just passes if that executes. So you put it's a case structure or something. Pass if you pass in a Boolean, the Boolean's true, it passes. Pass if there's an error, if you're expecting an error. Pass if equal. And it also has the equivalent fails. So we can just run this once just with this, because it should fail, just to see what it's like. Oh, yeah. One thing is you have to remember to go to the project and save. In this case, I guess I did, but especially when you add that first test, you have to go to the project and save all, or it won't recognize it. But the test failed, and it tells you here what failed, right? Pass if equal failed, and this is a little diff thing that says what's missing is placeholder string. So everything between the minus signs is what's missing, and if you have green and plus signs, that's what has been added. This is a recent version of LUnit that has this additional formatting here. The old ones will just tell you what it got and what it was expecting. The string diff's a little bit nicer. All right. So to turn this into a true test, we're just going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to drop our greet, and these are actually labeled actual and expected. So the expected value is hello Sam. I encourage you to be careful about getting the actual and expected right, because that just makes your debugging a lot easier. Caraya does not have the idea of and I dropped the wrong VI. You could also drop that with quick drop. That probably would have been quicker. And again, if I run it, it'll still fail because, hey, it's expecting Sam, and I just got hello with an empty string. So now I'm just going to type in Sam, and when I run it, it passes. Cool. And if I have multiple tests, I can go here and click this. And I think in newer versions, there is a Control-L shortcut for launching the LUnit tests and running the tests. So, but here, this will also run all tests in your project. So there's your quick introduction to writing unit tests. Super simple, super easy. You create the test either in Caraya by creating a blank VI, quick drop, control space, new test. That drops what you need. You drop your code with some constants for the inputs and some constants for what you expect the outputs to be, and you run it. And if the outputs match the expected outputs, test passes. If they don't match, it fails. Very simple concept. And then for LUnit, again, new test case. So you have to have a test case. Create one here. And then you create a new one from the template. Make sure it starts with the word test, and you're good. You got everything you need. Drop your code in there, wire up your constants, and you're done. There's also, just like Caraya has some stuff in here, LUnit has some stuff in here as well. So, all right, thank you.